We're thinking today about finding the gospel in the book of Isaiah. And that might sound weird to people because, you think the gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, New Testament, but it's really there in the Old Testament. Even from, you mentioned last time you were on with us, Genesis chapter 3, verse 15.
He's right there.
He's right there.
Yeah. And he's so beautiful through the book of Isaiah. If you read the book of Isaiah and you're not oriented toward understanding and seeing that this is really about the Christ who is going to come. Boy, that book is hard to make sense of, isn't it? And, one part it says, things are going to be good. And then another part, things are going to be really bad.
Who's Edom?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, I think for most of my life, even though I'm somebody who grew up in church and studied the Bible a lot, just all of the prophets, because they didn't make sense to me, it was easy to just avoid them.
Skip them.
Right? Just kind of lop them out of the Bible.
Or it's all about Israel and the Antichrist.
Yes, those things. And so, I mean, when I began to discover, this is about Christ. And Isaiah is seeing himself at a particular place in the unfolding revelation and redemption story through Jesus Christ. And so he's looking at his people squarely today, and he's talking to them, and he's talking about them. But there's more there. And that the answer to all of their issues is this one who's going to come. And so he reveals in these chapters and chapters all that the Christ is going to do. Now, when the Christ does come, all those people who've been studying Isaiah, they're a little bit confused. Maybe even John the Baptist. I think he had studied the scrolls of Isaiah, and he had seen all these things Isaiah said the Messiah was going to do when he came. And most people expected that he was going to do those all in one fell swoop in his first coming. And so that was a lot of the confusion about Jesus, because they saw him doing some of these things, but not all of these things. And so, for example, for John the Baptist, he hears that Jesus is healing, and he's extending grace and kindness to people. And he's been reading Isaiah, and Isaiah talks about when the Messiah comes, he's going to set fires, and he's going to
judgment.
Judgment.
And I'm sitting in jail waiting to have
Where's
my head
the
severed
judgment?
from my body.
Exactly. And so I guess I would say that we're in good company if we read Isaiah, and maybe initially we don't completely get all the ways about which this is Christ. But you see, you and I we remember how John the Baptist was told that people would do greater things? That's even us. And that's because we live on this side of the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. And so
Makes a lot more sense now.
we can read Isaiah in a way that even John the Baptist couldn't, because we see it through that light, and that gives us a much fuller understanding of what's being said.